Hey everyone, it's your fearless leader, MJ. My friend had told me that, or suggested, that I should do a journey of music. And really, to be honest with you, I have too many musical influences to really pack it all into one 30-minute episode for you guys. So, and I have too many memories attached to like every single song in my life. So I'm just gonna tell you how music and how that process made me who I am today. And yeah, so when I was about maybe 16, 15, 13 to 16, around there, I joined a group that was pioneering wheelchair drumming, and it was fantastic. We were going to travel to as many places as we could, and we were going to show people and explain to people the testimony of being in a wheelchair and being able-bodied, or being disabled rather. And how even if you are disabled, it's not the end of the world. You can still have your passions and your drive to be that creative human being that you want to be. Music for me has always been there, and this group gave me the most amazing confidence boost and an outlet where I could take all the pain, all the sadness, all the things that I was going through as a young adolescent, and take them and turn them into a wonderful sound, and kind of forget about the real world at points, because through this time period my life was not stable, and the only solace I found was music and sports. So today I'm going to talk about music. Ever since I was ever since I was 12, I've always had an ear for music. As my friend calls it, I am a genius when it comes to music. I just know certain songs and certain tempos and rhythms and all the things that you're supposed to know. And he thinks that I should be teaching it or spreading my knowledge in some way. So, and I, for once, think he's right. So, I don't really know how I'm going to do that on this podcast, but just to give you a break from all the stuff that's going on, I'll tell you my story about music. So yeah, it all started when I was 12. I was sitting in my room with my friend at the time, and she and I just sat down for, I think it was like something crazy, like 18 hours or something like that. It was something crazy. And we just like spitballed our ideas for songs. And that night was birthed like 3 songs, I think. And that was a real eye-opener for me. I realized that I could get my feelings out, and I wasn't hurting anybody, and I wasn't doing anything wrong. It was just a cathartic process. So ever since then, I was so addicted. I still am addicted to anything melodic, anything with a beat. It's like a coping mechanism for me. It is a coping mechanism for me. My friend always, like, if I get anxious, because I have an anxiety disorder. I think I talked about that in my last episode, or one of my last episodes. And that just zens me right out. Like, everything could be going wrong in the world, and then the perfect song comes on, and it's like, yes, this is transporting me back to a happier time, or this is transporting me back to a event that I had in my life, like a first kiss, like the first cuddling session, like the first date, like the first time I walked, like just a lot of events have been surrounded and soundtracked by music, and it's always been like a giant melodic hug every time something bad, good, or indifferent happens. It's always there. It never leaves. And that's what I'm not used to. Everything usually ends up leaving, and it ends up disappearing and fading away. But the one thing I can count on is that. And everybody says that I have a way with words. All my friends and family that know me think I have a way with words, which I'm kind of self-conscious. And I haven't written in a long time. I probably haven't written in a good song in probably 4 to 5 years. I just haven't felt the inspiration. Like, I know everybody says this if they're like a songwriter or a creative. If you don't have things around you that make you happy, then you really don't feel like writing. And lately, I just really don't feel like writing. But hopefully, during this self-isolation and stuff, hopefully I can get back to that and realize that I do love it and all the benefits that come along with it. As I was saying before, I had joined a band. It wasn't my band. It was created by our instructor, and then 2 other people, including myself, so 4, who decided that we were going to spearhead this whole new project, which was 4 different people that had different disabilities and who wanted to play instruments. So the leader of the group, I'm not going to name him just for privacy purposes, but the leader of the group, he came up with this device that you basically plugged it in, and the easy way to explain it is you plug it in and it travels through the wire, and it makes a sound when you hit the buttons that we had on our headrest. And if you don't know what a headrest is, it's just a piece of seating that helps us hold our head up. And so we would attach buttons to our chairs, and one of my friends actually had a drumstick that had a little mini crystal inside of it, and the leader of the group made it connect to this converter box that we were using, so he could play along with us. It was a great experience, and at first we played at the rec center that we all grew up in, and then it expanded to a lot of other places. We wanted to spread the word of disability and just show people that no matter what, we could do whatever we wanted to, as long as we found a way around the limitations. So that was a huge part of my life from about 14, I would say, to like 17, 18, maybe 20. I can't really remember. I think it was 20 because it was my first year of college. And I started in high school. So that was a huge part of my life. And we would practice once a week. And the instructor had rented out a place in a local mall back where I used to live, and yeah, turned it into the academy that he kind of runs still, I believe. Not quite sure. I've been out of the loop for a while, but he used to run this what's it called? Music store. And he would try and recruit a bunch of other people, and it went really well for the 6 years that I was there. But then now, I guess it's kind of dismembered itself. I know there's still a couple founding members, but it's not as strong and as fruitful as it used to be. So yeah. That's like the general history of what we went through. I'm probably missing a lot of parts, but music is a solace for me. Music is that time of the day where it's like the most peaceful, and it doesn't matter what mood you're in, you can either turn that mood around or you can live in that mood. So I have a lot of songs. Maybe one day I will bring my friend on the podcast, and we can talk about things. I'll have to set that all up. We'll see how it goes. No promises. 1, because I'm not techie, and 2, because I don't know if they're cool with being on the podcast or not. And technically, I don't know how we would do a 2-way conversation on here, because I'm kind of using primitive equipment. But that's actually the other thing that I wanted to talk about. You can turn absolutely anything into a hobby. You can grab a paper and a pen, and you could start your first song today. You could write a list of all the feelings that you're feeling, and you could, it doesn't matter if they, it matters if they rhyme, but it doesn't really matter if they rhyme at this point. You're just starting from a baseline. So I would encourage you guys to write all that down, all your feelings, and then kind of put a theme to the poetry that you have just come up with. And it can be happy, it can be sad, it can be angry, it can be whatever you need it to be at this space and time. So, or if you're not a wordsmith or not very good with words, you could always do film. You could do scores for film or jingles for TV. Or you could be a screenwriter. I know that really doesn't have anything to do with music, but it's all in the creative realm. So whatever you want to do, whether it's creative or mathematical or whatever it may be, that's solely up to you, and that's solely your inner self coming out. So I would say embrace your inner self, and just during this time, it's a time of self-discovery. So since you have the time, why not, right? Get after it. Learn an instrument. Create instruments from household objects. There's a bunch of tutorials online that you can go to create drums. Like, you can grab a rubber band if you're not allergic, or you can grab a ponytail and just take a Pringles can and cover it with parchment paper, and that's your homemade drum. And then you could do homemade cymbals, which would just be like bells, or a homemade guitar, like when you were at camp. You get a tissue box and you put a roll of toilet paper in there, and then you just grab ponytail holders or elastics and you put it around the tube and then around the opening of the tissue box, and then you got your own guitar. You could also do a rainmaker, which is like just getting beads or marbles and going from there and just covering it up at the ends. So it's like a rain stick. Or like I'm not an expert at all this stuff, so just I would look it up online and tell me what you come up with in the comments below. And maybe by the end of this quarantine, we will have a homemade band. And you guys can submit all your videos to my channel. If you're not subscribed, hit that button. And yeah, I know it was kind of all over the place, but at least it was musical, right? So I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy and trying to stay positive and happy. And just remember, like, even if it's not music for you guys, if it's like podcasting like me, or if it's like, if you got a different perspective, then you could join meetup groups. Obviously not actually meeting up, but maybe virtually right now. You can meet up and you can just be you and beat to your own drum. Haha, I'm very punny. But yeah, just follow your dreams and get out there and remember to keep us safe and socially acceptable distance. And yeah, I'm boring myself with all that, but it needs to be said, and I will hopefully chat with you guys soon. Alright? Hope you guys are having a great day. Y'all fearless leader out. Ability Warriors fam, you're getting the biggest voice hug ever. Love you guys. Bye.